This video will guide you through the Motion Studio software for the Measure Imaging module. Download the Motion Studio software from the IDT website. Double-click the installer file and follow the prompts on your computer. Once installed, open the software. Select the Cameras option in the main menu. The computer will search for all connected cameras, and the detected IDT camera should be displayed in the window. If there is no camera detected, check that all wires are properly connected and click Refresh List. Once detected, click to open the camera. Ensure that the light source is turned on and positioned toward the sample. To view the live image, select the Live button. It is likely that the image will be out of focus or out of frame. To recenter and refocus the image, we will need to adjust the camera. First, we will refocus the image. Set the zoom control on the zoom lens to 1x magnification. Then adjust the focus knob to about its midpoint position. Carefully loosen the two knobs on the camera platform to adjust the vertical Z position of the camera. Adjust the Z position until the image is mostly in focus, then retighten the knobs to secure the camera platform in place. Now that the image is mostly in focus, the focus knob can be used for fine focus adjustments. Before we recenter the image, check that the sample orientation in the window is correct. Note the orientation of the sMEA on the measure frame, specifically the internal reference electrodes. In the mechanical holder, the Gen 4E sMEA will have two squared internal reference electrodes at the bottom of the well and two rectangular reference electrodes at the left and top of the well. The Gen 6B sMEA will have one squared internal reference electrode at the bottom of the well, pointing slightly to the left. Note the orientation of the sMEA displayed in the camera image. If necessary, lower the zoom lens magnification to view the internal reference electrodes. If the reference electrodes are still not in frame at the lowest magnification, adjust the X or Y axis on the camera platform. To adjust the Y axis, tighten or loosen the front and back screw stoppers to push the XY stage in the Y direction. To adjust the X-axis, tighten or loosen the left and right screw stoppers to push the XY stage in the X direction. Now, do the internal reference electrodes in the camera image match the physical orientation of the sMEA in the platform? If the orientation of the camera image needs to be adjusted, under the Image tab, select the corresponding image rotation and/or image flip until the orientation matches. Now we can recenter the sMEA in the camera image. Adjust the X and Y axes on the camera platform to center the recording sites in the camera image. Once centered, secure the camera stage in place by tightening each screw stopper. This will help prevent motion blur during stretch movement. Before recording and saving videos and images, first make sure that the area of interest is displayed and the image is bright and clear. If necessary, use the magnification lens to adjust the area. recenter, and refocus the image if necessary. To optimize image quality, we recommend starting with the light source intensity at its maximum value and the aperture on the zoom lens set to fully open. To further optimize, end the live view by selecting the Stop button. The last image from the live session will be displayed and the camera status will return to idle. Under the Camera tab, set a sensor gain of 2.0, a frame rate of 1000 Hz, an exposure time of 500 microseconds, and an ROI of 1024 by 1024. Under the Image tab, set a sharpness of 0.7, a brightness of 0.15, a contrast of 1.3, gamma values 1.8, 3, 0, and 200. And finally, look up Table or Loot D. Light source intensity, aperture, sensor gain, and exposure are all directly proportional to image brightness, while frame rate is inversely proportional to brightness. Image clarity can be improved by adjusting sharpness and contrast, while gamma and Loot D affect both image brightness and clarity. See BMSEED's Imaging User Manual for more details on image quality optimization. Now, to save an image at any time, under File, select Save Snapshot. To find the location Motion Studio saves images, under Tools, select Options. The directory will be displayed under Image Download folder. To record a video of the sample during the desired mechanical stimulus, first set the desired number of recorded frames and pre-trigger frames, which can be useful for strain analysis. The number of frames and pre-trigger frames will be dependent on the stretch being recorded. For example, if executing a cyclic stretch of 20% strain at a frequency of 4 Hz, it will take 250 milliseconds for one full cycle. Thus, a recording should be at least 250 milliseconds long, so the total number of frames can be set to 250 with 50 pre-trigger frames. If executing an impulse stretch of 50% strain at a rate of 50 per second, it will take 10 milliseconds for the VCA to apply the stretch and 10 milliseconds for the VCA to return to its starting position. Thus, a recording should be at least 20 milliseconds long, so the total number of frames can be set to 60 with 20 pre-trigger frames, for example. Next, there are two different ways to start or trigger a recording: manual versus automatic triggered recording. For manual triggering, select the Record button to arm the camera for recording. The camera will be on standby for the manual trigger. Select the Camera Trigger button to manually trigger the recording, then execute the VCA motion. The camera will record only the set number of frames, so the motion of the VCA must be completed within this duration. BMSEED recommends the second method, automatic triggered recording, which automatically starts a recording once VCA motion is detected. In the Camera tab, select Edit Motion Trigger. Set the trigger mode to motion detection and the trigger level, or sensitivity of the trigger, to a low to medium set point. After setting these parameters, ensure that the Arm Motion Trigger box is checked. Prepare the VCA so that the next motion after the VCA Go button is pressed will be the desired motion for recording. Once ready, select Record to arm the camera for recording. Press the VCA Go button to begin the desired cyclic or impulse stretch. The motion will trigger the camera to start recording the set number of frames. If the recording is not triggered by the motion, the trigger sensitivity might need to be lowered. Once the recording has been successfully acquired, it can be saved under File, and save acquisitions. Select the Download Options button to specify the file location and enable the raw file to be downloaded. Now the raw file type can be selected. Also, edit the session name. Finally, select the Timestamp button to add a timestamp to each of the saved frames. For example, display the frame number, date, time, and time from trigger. Select Save. The recording has now been saved and is ready to be viewed. Refer to BMSEED's Imaging Module User Manual or contact us directly if you have any questions about the Motion Studio software.